Sleep time should have been a happy moment for a tired child. For me, it was like a nightmare while some kids complained about going to bed without watching TV or playing games as someone with a physics background. It still lingers in the corner of my mind to me, but I can say I felt sheer terror. It was the greatest fear I had ever felt in my life. Nothing could compare. I'll tell you as much as I can now. I don't exactly remember when it started, but I think my fear of falling asleep began when I got my own room. I was 8 years old at that time. I had shared my room with my older brother until then. Being 5 years old, 20 years old, leaving me of my memory. I sat up in bed and looked at my toes scattered on the green carpet below. While inspecting my toes, my eyes kept drifting down to the bunk below, as if something was trying to escape my gaze. Upon realizing there was nothing below, I pulled the blanket over me and fell asleep, reassured by the silence of the downstairs TV my dad was watching. When you wake up to something moving in the room, it takes a few seconds to understand what it is. Everything becomes clear once the fog of sleep lifts. Something was moving. There was no doubt about it. At first, I couldn't comprehend what it was. It was almost pitch dark. Two thoughts immediately crossed my mind. My family was in their bed because there was no sound or light. The second thought turned into a sound, the sound that woke me up. By the time the last cobwebs of sleep disappeared from my mind, the sound had become recognizable. The bed below was creaking, as if someone was searching for a comfortable position. Maybe the sound was just my imagination, or was my cat trying to sleep on the bottom bunk? I glanced at my door, and it was closed. Perhaps my mom had opened the door to check on me, and the cat sneaked in? Yes, that must be it. I turned my face to the wall and tried to sleep. Once I turned, the sound below stopped. It seemed like I had disturbed my cat, but I quickly realized that the visitor below was stealthier than my cat. Suddenly, the thing below started thrashing in the bed like someone having a fit of anger. Fear gripped me. My eyes opened with fear, and tears started to well up. I cried. Like every little child, I called for my mom. There was some movement at the other end of the house after yelling. The thing below went crazy again, shaking the bed as if there was an earthquake. Instead of going downstairs, I chose to stay in my bed and wait for them. Waiting felt like an eternity. Finally, the door opened. Meanwhile, the bed below was completely empty. I cried as my mom tried to comfort me. I couldn't tell her why I was scared because I felt that if I mentioned it, it would come back. My mom lay in the bottom bunk and said she would stay there until morning, but I could hardly sleep that night. The next morning, I wanted to go everywhere in the house except that room. It was a Saturday morning, and I was playing with my friends in the yard. The yard had many bushes and tall trees. making us feel like we were on an exotic island, having an adventure. While playing with my friends, my eyes wandered to the window of my room as if it was watching me in the mornings. It filled me with fear and haunted me with nightmares when left alone at night. It may sound strange, but when they brought me back into the room, I didn't protest. I had no evidence anyway. I climbed onto my upper bunk and lay down. At night, lying still with fear, my heart suddenly raced. There were again creaking sounds coming from below. This time, a thought began to circulate in my mind. Ghost. Soon after, the creaking gave way to breathing, almost like it was trying to find a comfortable rhythm. The house fell silent again. The breathing continued. It wanted something from me. Later, something truly frightening happened. It moved. It was different from its previous movements, as if it was an animal, undoubtedly in some way. I felt it sitting up in the bed suddenly. There were only a few boards separating us. Its breathing had accelerated. I lay there, my eyes filling with tears. I wanted to cry, to scream, but I couldn't. When I looked at the wall, it wasn't above me, but stood against the wall like a spider. Suddenly, it tightened its grip on me, as if it understood that I was trying to escape. It started pulling me towards the wall, like I was a prey it had caught. As we fought for my life, it seemed impossible to break free. I started crying, screaming, but no one came. I realized why it was trying to take me quickly. The sunrise was approaching. It pulled me towards its chest. I felt its breath. It was ice cold. As the sun rose, the room filled with light. It grabbed me by the neck with its claws and took my life. I woke up seeing my dad preparing breakfast for me. I had escaped the most horrifying night of my life. Weeks passed without any incidents. We rearranged the bed and moved it to the other side. We put items where the old bunk bed used to be. One night I woke up to strange noises. The items on the other side of the room were shaking madly, and there was a strange roar coming from the wall. I never told this story to anyone before. Even today, I can't sleep with my bed against the wall. You might call it imagination, but all I can say is this. The next year, they gave me a new room, and my parents turned this one into their bedroom. They endured for 10 days. On the 11th day, we moved out of the house. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.